Hello, my name is Helena Bilsborough and I'm going to be presenting my PhD, what I've done so far and what I'm planning to do. So the aim of my PhD is to explore the perceptions and thoughts around peer volunteering schemes that people aged over 50 from the Sikh and Chinese community hold. In the UK, we have an ageing population, and whilst people are living longer, it is important that health is maintained into later life for both the individual and society. The World Health Organization has put out a call for action for healthy aging in hopes of encouraging this through means such as physical activity. Physical activity can improve both physical health, such as by reducing coronary heart disease, and mental health, for example, by buffering the effects of depression and anxiety. Volunteering is one possible avenue for physical activity, as it provides people with the opportunity to get out of the house and hit physical activity goals. One form of volunteering is peer volunteering. Peer volunteering is where two people of a similar background are paired together to reach a shared goal. For example, you could pair a sedentary older adult with someone who is more active and a more active older adult volunteer to increase their physical activity and socialisation levels. In order for peer volunteering programs to run smoothly, however, recruitment of peer volunteers is important so that they can be paired with the participant. So therefore, I set out in my scoping review to explore what motivates older adults to become peer volunteers in schemes that include some option for physical activity. I searched 4 databases, Medline, Embase, APA PsycInfo, and CINAHL, with the following inclusion criteria. Only papers written in English were included. The population must be peer volunteers, either current or past, and they must be older adults aged 50 or over. There must be some option for physical activity in the programmes, and the outcome measured must have been motivations of these volunteers. The search found 7 papers overall, and the motivations fit into 3 different themes. Altruistic motivation, so a drive to help others, for example, wanting to share a programme that had benefited the volunteer in the past, they want to share that with the participant. Personal motivation, so a drive to achieve individual goals, for example, increasing their own physical activity or socialisation levels. Or past experience, so they were motivated by their own experience, for example, wanting to help others overcome barriers that the volunteers themselves once experienced. The scope review also found that either ethnicity was not reported or the volunteers were majority white. This could be a problem, as previous research has suggested that people like to be mentored by someone who is of a similar culture or shared language. And so for peer volunteering schemes to reach isolated older adults from ethnic minorities, a greater attempt to recruit volunteers from ethnic minorities is required. Therefore, going forward, I plan to speak to people from the Chinese and Sikh communities in Greater Manchester about their perceptions and experiences with helping others. The plan is to start very broad and go with an open mind. We're going to be running focus groups to try and understand the wider thoughts and language that may be used in these communities for helping others. For example, the Sikh community may call what we call volunteering seva, and so peer volunteering adverts may not appeal to them because of this language difference. These focus group findings will then inform the interview schedules, so we can do in-depth interviews with people from the same communities, so we can start to explore their thoughts and experiences on helping others in more detail, and also with peer volunteering itself, such as providing them with a peer volunteering recruitment advert and seeing what they think about it. Part 3 will then involve a comparison of the motivations that are discussed in the interviews with those that have already been indicated by current peer volunteers who started their peer volunteering journey on the Active, Connected, Engaged trial. This is a multi-centred peer volunteering randomised control trial. The motivations were collected at the start of the trial via the Volunteer Functions Inventory. This is a 30-item questionnaire which measures the 6 functional motives of volunteering. These are protective, so protecting the ego, values, career, social, understanding, and enhancement, so bettering self. The comparisons of these motivations will help us to understand the similarities and differences between people who are currently peer volunteers in official programmes and those that are not. The hope is that from this, we will start to understand what may be the best ways to recruit people from different communities into peer volunteering schemes, what might motivate people from the Chinese and Sikh communities to become peer volunteers, and what may act as barriers to their recruitment. Currently, I'm applying for ethical approval, and once approval has been granted, I hope to begin recruitment in January. From there, I hope to run the focus groups in February and then the follow-up interviews in early April. So far through my PhD, I've completed a range of training and development activities. I completed graduate teaching assistant training, the Montreal Cognitive Assessment training, a course looking into critically analysing papers, and good clinical practice training. I've signed up to a range of courses for the coming year, including a 2-day NVivo course, and I've also presented at 2 conferences this year. The Health Enhancing Physical Activity conference in Nice, where I presented a post on the strength training paper that I was a co-author on, and recently the NIHR Academy Members Conference, where I presented a poster on my scope review and the next steps for my PhD. Over the next couple of months, I also hope to publish this scope review that I presented today. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.